Hello, and welcome to the What We've Watched podcast. My name is Chris.
Does that it?
And this is episode 100!
Wow.
Yeah, we did 100 episodes. No breaks. No lost episodes. At all.
Well, we lost an episode, but we replaced it.
No lost episodes. Every week. Exactly as intended.
We replaced it before.
Yeah. 1% lost episodes. That's not bad. So this is episode 100, and our final decade, top 5 decade. And so we're going to be doing things a little differently, much sort of like how we did for our 1 year episode. We're doing a sort of just something a little special here, and instead of doing a top 5,
well, it's 100. I mean,
it's 100,
that's a pretty big milestone.
Yeah. A lot of stuff doesn't make it to 100.
Almost 2 years.
Yeah. Couple of hundred hours, probably close to 200 hours in front of the mic.
It's a little,
yeah.
It's a fair bit.
A lot edited. A lot of editing. Much appreciated on that.
It's not
so we're going to be doing a top 10 and
of the 2000s.
Of the 2000s, from 2000 to 2009, because our first top 5 was 2010 to 2014.
Effectively, yeah.
Yeah, it was the previous 5 years from when we were starting.
Yep.
So I think actually the only year that has been completely missed would be 2015, because we did our top picks of 2016.
16 technically.
Oh yeah, I guess that's true.
Last year
would be.
But that's because there's. I mean,
yeah. But we
talked about our recommendations and like what we thought was good from that year.
Yeah.
It just seems like doing the yearly ones doesn't seem to be that interesting for people.
Yeah.
Oddly enough.
But yeah. So what we do is we both brought a collection of movies from that decade, and we're gonna see what we both brought, and we're gonna
come up with
a top 10,
an overall list.
And I was about to say,
yeah. So I mean, it's a bit of an experiment.
Crossover, 100%.
Yeah, it's a bit of an experiment. We don't know exactly how this is going to work out.
Yeah.
So we're going to try it out, and
I brought way too many films.
We're getting a little.
My list is way too long, and a lot of these will never be.
We're getting a little bit, into a little bit less kind of planned out territory than what we're usually very like. After this long, after 99 episodes, we kind of have a pretty good sense of like how to do things.
Yeah.
That works for us. So this is a bit of an experiment and a bit of a trying something new. So we don't really know how it's going to go. It's a bit exciting in a way because it could go terribly wrong. But
it's been a while
in a cool way, I'm sure.
We've done a decade top 5 because we've been doing yearly top 5.
Just the 90s one, yeah.
Just the 90s
yearly 90s ones.
And like suddenly having to look at an entire decade's worth of films was like,
all right. Well, on that note, that's a good segue.
Yeah.
Because what I did was I started looking at it, and I found myself kind of just naturally, without even really trying that hard, pretty much, more or less, I picked sort of one per year.
Okay.
The reason being,
I wish I had done
plus like a few other kind of alternates, to just throw in some spice.
Yeah.
But
it's kind of thing
I hadn't planned out doing it that way, but it just sort of seemed to really naturally kind of form that way, because looking at each year and knowing that we were doing one list for the whole decade, even though it's a 10, but knowing we were doing one list for the whole decade, looking at each year, it usually jumped out at me pretty quickly what was clearly by far my favorite film of that year. It usually was a very easy choice to make, because usually I was just like, oh, well, clearly, way ahead.
Yeah.
There were some exceptions. There were some that were closer, where I have some alternate choices, maybe
and definitely some years are tougher than others.
Yeah and there are some where I have like sort of some alternate choices that maybe might fit better with like that we can come to an agreement on or whatever, depending on how strongly you feel about it. But for the most part, generally speaking, I did the one a year because it just kind of naturally worked out that way because it just was very clear. Like going through it, I was just like,
Yeah.
well, clearly, boom, boom, boom. So,
All right. So first thing I want to do
Yeah.
is before I get started, something that might make our job a little easier here.
Yes.
And maybe not. Is this decade also because I came across this when I was looking at it from 2003, the Pirates of the Caribbean, and nicely, all 3 movies are in
Yep.
this decade.
Yep.
Do we want to just include that as a single entry? Like the Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy as an
Right.
entry on the list?
I
Or
would-
would you rather just pick a particular film? I mean, probably was obviously the first one.
I honestly,
or do you think it doesn't match up for the?
Well, honestly, I didn't even include them because
Oh, really? Okay.
I had enough other choices,
Okay,
and
okay.
we already have them. Both of us had them quite high up on our Disney live action
that's true.
lists.
It's true. Yeah.
And no, which is not to say. I mean, I think for this list, it doesn't necessarily. It's not
Yeah.
eliminating things that they've been on previous lists is probably not necessary for this list. But I just was like. There's so many other ones, and I didn't want. So, like, yeah, I didn't even include them at all.
Alright, no,
so, I mean,
was curious. No, it's
I would combine them as one entry.
one, too. That's
if
sort
it
of
was
what I
me.
did, so, yeah.
If it was me, I would do that.
All right. Do you just want to? We just start at like 2000 and work our way up?
So
what'd you have for 2000?
For 2000, my top pick, it was definitely "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou."
Okay.
To me, that's
Interesting.
one of
All
the
right.
best Coen Brothers films. Excellent follow-up to Big Lebowski. Like it's right up there near the top, like with that. Yeah, I love that film. There was no doubt about it.
Yeah, I wish I was more familiar with it. I've seen it.
Oh my
I
God,
know I
it's
liked
amazing.
it, but I only saw it the one time,
It's amazing.
and I
You would
don't
love it.
I had Unbreakable.
Yeah.
And just it came up as like also as Emma Shyamalan's kind of like one of his best films.
Yeah,
if
I
not
agree,
his
but
best.
it's nowhere close to
Oh Brother.
Over There,
Okay.
There, in my opinion. And
yeah,
probably most people's opinion.
I had
Oh Brother, Where Art Thou is just one of those like masterpieces. It's just
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
one of the Coen Brothers' best.
Okay.
So
and yeah, I guess probably closest to that I had would maybe be Castaway.
yeah, which I've never seen.
You've never seen it. All right.
I'm not really.
Well, that makes
interested-
that easy.
I'm not really interested in that kind of like standard drama kind
Yeah.
of stuff that much.
It's super good. I mean,
I believe
would call it anything but standard, but
Well,
yeah.
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean. It doesn't have.
But you having not seen it, easily makes that a thing.
Yeah.
And
I
then-
mean, we maybe end up having to double up on some years, so we don't necessarily have to have a
and
choice.
then we can trim down.
We don't
from
have to
there.
have a
Yeah,
choice
yeah,
from
yeah,
every
yeah.
year,
No,
right?
no.
So
And then I guess like I had Pitch Black.
yeah, I like Pitch Black,
Black,
but like
but-
I say, I mean, for
Okay.
these kind of lists, you want to go with the absolute cream of the crop.
Yeah.
And Pitch Black is, I mean, it's a good, entertaining movie.
Yeah.
It's a movie
But
you go to the
not-
theater,
yeah.
have some popcorn, and have some fun with. But it's
Exactly.
not exactly a all-time,
Yeah. Okay.
But
So
I
did you just have one for each year?
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
except for
except for
like I said, a
particular
couple
years,
of
yeah.
places where I sort of had special exceptions.
Okay, so 2001, my standout ones were Vanilla Sky and Training Day.
Okay,
What did you have?
Mulholland Drive, absolutely. It's my absolute favorite David Lynch film. I'm a huge David Lynch fan. There's no question about it.
I don't have Mulholland Drive on here for some reason.
There was never a question about it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But Training Day is amazing too.
Well-
That's Anton Fuqua, who's another one of my favorite
Yeah.
filmmakers, and it's a great film.
I goofed. I must have just forgot to copy it into here.
Great performance from Denzel.
Yeah.
Great film. Great film.
Yeah.
It's an excellent film.
Yeah.
Mulholland Drive is just I love it because it's
Yeah,
it's
it
like
is-
my
it is
favorite. It's my
really, really
favorite
good.
Lynch
It
film.
is really good.
It's the one that
I'd have to say it's probably my favorite.
is
Lynch
my
film,
first
too.
real introduction to Naomi Watts, who is my favorite actress, and it's just it's so amazing.
All right. Well, that's a good. Being that we're both fans of that.
Yeah. Training Day is great.
I must have copied over it with
Yeah.
something else because I did it all on the computer and I must have just pasted
Training
it
Day
over.
is a great film, though.
Yeah.
Like that would definitely be an acceptable alternative. It's just not really my kind of
Yeah,
thing as
yeah.
much, I guess.
Yeah. Then you like Vanilla Sky.
I do, but I don't consider it.
No,
it's not that great of a film. We talked about it recently.
Yeah,
on
it came
the
up.
Tom
It came
Cruise,
up,
the Tom Cruise list, and
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I was like,
it was on both our lists.
it's
Just for
good,
different-
but it's not great in my opinion.
Yeah, other 2001 films that Super Troopers. I know we both really like that.
I actually forgot about that. That's a great comedy.
I can wait till the comedies. We got comedies, yeah. Memento.
Yeah, that's great fun. Yeah.
And I had Spirited Away. Miyazaki's.
Oh
Spirited
yeah,
Away.
I'm not too familiar with that stuff because I'm not really an anime guy.
Yeah. But yeah, no, Mulholland Drive. Yeah, that's definitely
for me.
Putting a circle around that.
Yeah,
one.
for me it would have to be, but some of those other things.
I think I
too.
accidentally pasted Memento over top of it in Mulholland Drive. All right, 2002. 2002 was my tough one.
Yeah,
because there was nothing on here like lots of movies I like.
Yeah,
nothing that was like.
I agree.
Like
like
easy.
No slam dunks.
I could have easily done a top 5 list because here's just 5 good movies.
No slam dunks.
No slam dunks.
I picked Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers.
No Lord of the Rings
because it is my favorite of the Lord of the Rings ones.
Okay.
But
is that the second one?
That's the second one. That's the middle one. Yeah, it's my favorite of the 3. But it's like you say. Yeah. I had trouble with that too because I was just like, well. There's a lot of there wasn't really like a single real standout, but I think the Lord of the Rings movies, they have their flaws.
Do all 3 of them fall in the? Oh no, because the first one's
2001, 2002, 2003.
Oh right,
they're all
sequentially.
Sequential years.
I mean, that could be
for sure. I mean, I do
2
consider
does stand out as I personally prefer 1 a little more. Just
a lot of people do, and then some people really like the last one because it's the most sort of epic.
It's my preference versus I also know 2 is the better film. I think
it's definitely debatable.
In terms of story and development and stuff, it is the better film.
It's very debatable. It's I think it's different for everybody, and it's just what comes down to what you prefer.
But I hear a lot of people championing 3,
But 3 is the one that got the most overall acclaim. It won the most Oscars.
Retroactively, I don't hear most people go.
Well,
to
I think the 3 is very impressive in terms of its epicness and stuff and spectacle, but it has the most glaring flaws. I would say for sure, by easily. Yeah. To me, I mean, I sort of it's one of those kind of things where it's a true trilogy that I sort of think of as one kind of thing,
Yeah.
Like the Pirates trilogy, because I mean, honestly, heck, even technically, its source material is technically one novel, despite what a lot of people think.
It's split up just
because
for
it was
ease of
published.
printing.
It was published in 3 volumes, but it is technically one novel. So, I mean, even the whole division of it is somewhat artificial anyway. So to me, it's one story. It's Lord of the Rings.
It is actually one of those things.
And I think that
I'm very surprised there's no Lord of the Rings one ring cut where they just cut it all together as a single film.
Well, you could do that digitally, I guess.
Yeah.
You couldn't. There's no physical media you could put that on, but.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah. Well, not in super high resolution anyway. Yeah.
But you could certainly.
I could put 12 hours of video on a DVD. That doesn't take anything. That's not.
Yeah, but it's not going to be high definition. It's not going to be worth watching.
I mean, it would be if it was in a non-standard format. Yeah. But nothing you can put in your VCR. Yeah. Holy crap! In your DVD player.
You can't watch Lord of the Rings on VCRs, man.
VCR
it was never released on it was never released on VHS.
Really?
Actually, it might have been.
I'm pretty sure the first one was.
It could have been, because in the early 2000s, there was still
VHS.
So you're right, it could have
been. But only that first one, though? So,
no, all 3.
All 3, you think?
Yeah,
I guess 2003. That would.
Yeah, we haven't got to the last VHS release here yet. It's on my list. It's coming.
Oh, nice. For 2002, some more standout ones were Road to Perdition.
Oh, that's great.
Really
film.
Love Road to Perdition.
Road to Perdition's amazing. I missed that.
And more of a personal pick, but I'm a huge fan of Panic Room.
Yeah, well.
But that's ones I know that is that's much more me, and
I think it was just for me. It was just kind of like Fincher kind of peaked with Fight Club, and then it was following that with Panic Room was just kind of like.
That was And
This is kind of a movie.
And I think,
like, I thought, he's gonna blow the doors off of reality after making something like Fight Club, but
being like super familiar with like Fincher as like, oh, this is a Fincher film,
but there is
and seeing Fight Club and enjoying that, and seeing Panic Room, and then finding out, well, that's also a Fincher film.
But there is
that's a Fincher film.
There is an explanation for that, though.
Oh yeah,
because Fincher himself has he is quite what's the word? He's helpfully actually explained exactly how that breaks down, because he likes to go back and forth between, he calls movies and films. And it's like, there's one is just kind of made more for just like entertainment purposes, that someone that can just sit back, have fun, watch, and then others are more ambitious and like artistic and more like, involved. And he kind of goes back and forth, or at least was at the time. So, like, he's actually addressed that himself, that it's more just a matter of sort of switching things up and, doing different kinds of things.
Yeah.
But that being said, I can't really, it's tough.
No.
It's tough to go from that and then just be like, oh, okay. Interesting.
I also had 1 hour photo.
I've never actually seen it.
Oh, you've never seen it? Okay,
No.
that's an easy one.
But Road to Perdition.
You want to see a creepy
Robin Williams, yeah.
Robin
One of the
Williams.
few that he's done, actually.
Yeah, no, it's
because he doesn't usually do that.
It's less creepy and more like,
It looked pretty creepy from the clips that I've seen.
It's disturbing in a distressing way.
Yeah.
Like, it's uncomfortable to
Road
watch.
Road to Perdition is
Road to
excellent.
Perdition. I'm putting
That's
some marks
a
next
really
to that
great.
one.
That's a great choice. I didn't see that.
No love for Rain of Fire.
Come on. Why would you even bother?
You gotta have that dragon
Best
movie.
of the decade? Really?
No, I know.
I just don't understand what goes
No,
through your mind sometimes.
Just as an entertainment factor. But, I'm assuming for 2003 it's Old Boy.
Absolutely,
Old
100%.
Boy.
One of my favorite films of all time.
Close, Love Actually, but that's fallen in our Christmas films.
Yeah.
And the other one I had was Big Fish, which I know you're
Oh,
both
Big Fish is
fans
really
of.
good. Yeah, that's one of the best Tim Burton movies.
Like, it's interesting because it's like one of the best Tim Burton movies, and then like looking back, it's almost unrecognizable some ways as a Tim Burton movie from like how we think of a Tim Burton movie now, like what he's done sort of since then. Like,
Yeah,
it's
I don't know. I mean, kind of two notes.
yeah, well, it's kind of so normal in some ways. Like, but yeah. And that's also Pirates of the Caribbean. The first one came out in 2003.
That's
but
true.
I feel like Old Boy is kind of just. Like,
It's one of my favorite.
Like,
It would be on.
I feel like to pick it is like it is so good.
Yeah.
But I also feel like, well, everybody else is good. It's kind of cliche.
It would probably.
But it's still.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. We're trying to pick good ones.
Yeah.
It would probably be within like my top 20 or 30 of all time.
Oh yeah.
Easy. Frigging love Old Boy. Have you seen the American version?
No, I haven't.
It's not terrible.
Yeah, well, you said you saw it. You said it was maybe a little too much shot for shot.
It's too much of a remake.
And I was just like,
but it's.
And I had just re-seen Old Boy at that point.
Because I feel like,
so I was like, well,
I feel like it was
do I need to watch Old Boy twice back to back?
No, I mean, I feel like they kind of copped out a bit because, like, when they first announced that they were doing it, there was all this kind of like backlash about people saying like, oh well, why would you remake Old Boy? It was so good, blah blah blah, which is true. And then they,
I remember that.
They sort of said like, oh well, we're not really going to do a remake. We're going to do like another adaptation because of course it is from a source material. Yeah. It's which, actually from a Japanese manga. It's not even. It's not even originally Korean.
No.
Even though the film's Korean, and so they sort of kind of indicated that they were going to do an adaptation of the manga, which is very different than the movie. So that actually would have made sense, but they didn't do that. They did straight up just remake the Korean movie. And I was like, well, A, that's directly what you said you weren't doing, and B, then that brings back the whole issue of what's the point.
Yeah. It's another.
But that being said,
not American Psycho. It's another.
But that being said, it's well done.
Yeah.
The actors are fantastic, right? Josh Brolin,
yeah.
Elizabeth Olsen, Charlton Copley. Like, the actors do a fantastic job. It's extremely well made. It has very good technical, very good. Everything's really awesome. It's just, what's the point?
Yeah. Like,
You know?
not American Psycho. That was it. The remake.
Oh, Psycho.
Psycho. They did Psycho. Psycho
actually
remake.
was a shot-for-shot remake.
Shot remake. Yeah. But yeah,
But anyways, yes, the original,
the next
2003,
Time, the
Old
next
Boy.
time I feel
Excellent.
like seeing Old Boy, I'll probably watch the remake.
It's good. Like, you should watch it because it's decent. It's just, it just kind of brings up the question of why, you know?
2004.
Yeah.
What you got for that?
Well, again, this is going to be one that's going to be a very personal
Oh yeah.
pick that I'm sure will have nothing to do with anything that you would be interested
Okay.
in. But the film of Phantom of the Opera, 2004,
Oh.
I absolutely love. It's one of my favorite films of all time.
Yeah.
It's the film version of the musical, and I discovered it a little bit late, like maybe a couple of years after it came out. Maybe like
It's Matt Damon, right?
no.
He's bombing Phantoms, yeah.
Well, first of all, that was Ben Affleck,
Ben Affleck.
and secondly,
I know.
Phantoms is a
I know,
completely
I know,
different
I know,
movie.
I know. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just the production is just so beautiful. It's like one of those, like I remember because of my mom. I had it on when I got on Blu-ray, and when my mom was visiting, I was like, okay, I'm going to show you this as like your introduction to Blu-ray, Mom.
Yeah.
You know, and because it's just like so amazing. So yeah, so I really love it, but like, you know, I'm sure you probably haven't even seen it.
No.
Let alone
no, I
would
don't.
you probably even care
You
at
know,
all?
If I'd seen it,
But
I
I did have an alternative choice for this one because I knew that you likely wouldn't be into that, even though it is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou,
Oh,
one of my
interesting.
favorite Wes Anderson
Oh
films.
wow! Okay, yeah, no, that I do like that film, but I didn't consider. it. I had Man on Fire, and
That's good. It never really blew me away.
oh yeah, no,
Ironically,
and
it's good. It's good.
and I had The Aviator.
Oh yeah, again, I didn't really do anything. Didn't really do anything for me.
Yeah,
I thought it was average.
yeah. But yeah, Life Aquatic, that is a good.
Yeah, that's one
That's
of
a
Wes
good-
Anderson's best, I think, for sure.
Yeah, no, I probably like.
I mean, Bill Murray's been in so many of his movies now.
Yeah, well,
but
it's true,
but I
yeah.
think that's one of his best performances, and it's just an awesome movie. I love that movie.
That'd be a tough one, like trying to like rate Wes Anderson films.
Yeah.
that'd be a
Well, I
tough
think
one, but Life Aquatic's
I think
real
my
good.
picks would probably be different than a lot of other people's because I seem to like some of the ones that
I feel I'm in the same boat.
not
too,
as many. Like I loved what was the hotel one?
Oh
that,
yes.
the Grand Budapest Hotel.
Budapest Hotel.
I loved
So
that.
good.
It was amazing.
It totally got panned.
Well, to some degree, it wasn't.
compared to how some of his
It's
other
not
stuff
considered one of his best,
Yeah.
and to me, it
was
definitely
so
would
good.
be one of
Yeah,
his
yeah,
best.
yeah.
So
How did Fantastic Mr. Fox do?
good.
Yeah, because I really like that one too. And that was one, like, no joke, I didn't see that till about a year ago. Because I was like, I saw the trailer for it, I was like, this looks a little too much like a gimmick.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I just bypassed it, like, kind of went to his next
Yeah, I don't know.
film,
I wasn't
and-
big on the style, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think that was like, I enjoyed the characters.
when it comes
I
to
enjoyed the humor of it.
a little
but
too sort of
Wind in the Willow.
yeah, kind of or you know,
inspirational.
Frosty the Snowman kind of, you know, like when it comes to like stop motion animation.
Yeah.
I mean, like the Henry Selick style, the
Yeah.
Night Before Christmas,
Yeah.
you know, Coraline kind of thing is, it's difficult to break away from that because it's just so good. But yeah,
All right. 2005.
Yeah.
I have almost nothing for this year.
2005 was
That
actually
that was a rough year for me. I was just like, nothing stood out. For me.
2005 is amazing.
I had
I
had Batman Begins and Sin City, and
Batman Begins is great.
yeah.
Especially, like, I've come to appreciate it.
I was like, I'm gonna lean on Emmett for 2005.
I've come to appreciate it actually a lot more.
Yeah.
In as time's gone on, because like when it came out, it was just like, oh, that's good. And then like Dark Knight came out, and it kind of overshadowed it.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, oh, Dark Knight, oh, it's so
Yeah,
great,
yeah.
which it is. But
Yeah.
but like over time, going back and revisiting, like I've been like, wow, Batman Begins was actually really good.
Yeah.
Like I think it didn't really
Well,
get.
if Batman Begins hadn't been good, we never would have had it.
No, I understand. It's not that people
yeah.
don't think it's good. I just think it's probably better than a lot of people remember.
The Dark Knight Returns really...
It just really overshadowed it.
Yeah.
The other one that I would recommend from 2005 would be Kingdom of Heaven. But only with a slight kind of qualifier, because most particularly the director's cut, the extended version.
Okay. Well, that's fine.
Because it's like they cut. It is kind of like another sort of the Abyss kind of situation. The extended, they cut like 45 minutes from it to get to the theatrical cut. And you lose so much of the story and like so much of the richness and the details and stuff like that. But it's phenomenal. But for 2005, my pick had to be History of Violence. It's, again, one of the best Cronenberg films. Definitely, probably one of the best of his more sort of modern kind of slate.
That's my goof. Then I didn't put History of Violence on there. Like, I like History of Violence a lot.
Yeah.
I thought you didn't like it, so I was like, I won't even bother.
No, we've already talked about it before.
I must have missed.
Yeah.
I'm probably thinking of a different film.
Probably, yeah. No, we've talked about it before. History of Violence is amazing.
Yeah.
And
I haven't seen Kingdom of Heaven. I want to, but I have not seen it.
Book some time.
Book some time. Well, it's like with the director's cut, it's like 4 hours almost or something.
Probably pretty close to it. Yeah. Well over 3, yeah. But it's really good.
But no, History of Violence is great.
Yeah, it is. And that was the last VHS released.
Oh, really?
So.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So it's Kingdom of Heaven director's cut, or History of Violence on VHS. Those are our nominations. You gotta watch the VHS for the true gritty feel.
You gotta watch the VHS.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah, it's great.
All right. So 2006.
Yeah.
This was a big year for me.
Yeah.
But I have to go with 300. I know it's not.
This is from 2007, though.
Oh, that's interesting because it was on 2000. It was on 2006 on Wikipedia.
It was at like a festival. It had its premiere at a festival in December 2006. But its release date was March 9th, 2007.
Okay. Why would they put that on those? I see. Yeah, 2,300.
Like you can see right there.
It was at the Button-Up-a-thon. It was at the Button-Up-a-thon on. Yeah. So I guess technically it is. I mean, the movie was done in 2006, I guess. Okay, well, we'll just move that over to 2007, then. That's easy. Excellent. That clears up. That helps clear up 2006 a bit, then. Excellent. Awesome. Right. Okay. I'll check through my list here. All right. Well, then I don't really have a standout one for 2006. I mean, The Prestige. Real good.
I love The Prestige.
Yeah. I got a lot of fun ones from that year, like Lucky Number 11, Idiocracy, but those aren't.
Yeah. For me, it would be
Deja Vu.
It'd be The Prestige, probably, or Casino Royale.
Casino Royale was
because that's one of the best Bond films.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
So
definitely one of those two.
But The Prestige, I mean, I love The Prestige. It's probably my favorite Christopher Nolan film overall. Or it's a close one because he's had so many good ones.
It's true. Yeah, it's true.
Really, really good.
The Prestige is prestigious.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess going into 2007, that makes it tough because at 2007 now that was already a tough. I had 3 real good ones, and now I got 300 in there.
Okay.
I mean, No Country for Old Men kind of seems like it's real good.
I forgot about that. I didn't get that actually.
Eastern Promises.
Yep.
Is and The Mist were the ones that I had.
Okay. I'd also put There Will Be Blood.
Oh yes, I haven't seen that.
It's got
still haven't seen that
featuring one of the greatest acting performances ever. So I had to kind of at least mention it.
Yeah, no, it's
to me, No Country for Old Men, There Will Be Blood, and Eastern Promises would be probably the 3 sort of most conventionally great films from that year.
Okay,
but I mean, obviously, 300 has a special, has a sort of a special place for us because we've talked about it, in terms of the whole.
I feel like
how
if we had to pick between say No Country for Old Men and
is.
Eastern Promises, I think I would probably rather go with Eastern Promises. I just liked it more. Like I just thought it was we're getting that sequel. Yay!
Yeah, I'll believe that when I see it.
Western Promises.
They've been promising that for years.
Yeah, I know.
Well, 10 years.
10 years, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
Frankly.
Right. All right.
Yeah. Well, either way, that would, you know.
Yeah. I mean, they're both amazing films.
Yeah.
Like, it's and this is a problem, is you get in that situation where it's just like, oh, well, these are also all really great films. What do we do? 2008, Iron Man and Gran Torino were the ones I had. What do you got?
Gran Torino was good, but for
no?
me, it wasn't like a...
No? Oh, no?
It's good. I mean, mostly it's a good performance from Eastwood and whatnot, and it's decent, but yeah, I mean, Iron Man is great in terms of, you know, it started the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
It was so good.
Definitely would still consider it the best of the Iron Man movies, at least. And
well, yeah,
you know, it's a bit weird to look at it now. And
I mean, I don't hate 2 and 3 like most people don't hate them. I don't dislike them like most people do, but 1 is still by far the best.
It's just very solid and everything is well done. What's interesting about it is, like, looking at it now, it would look like so quaint because, like, there's almost no action. It's very, like, small scale. It's very simple, you know, because they had to start somewhere, and things weren't crazy like they are now, where it's just
they weren't like
massive
we're gonna
spectacles.
Make $1 bajillion. We can spend $1 bajillion.
It was basically an experiment. So, but it gets the most important things right. It gets the story right. It gets the characters right. It gets, you know, the designs right.
Yeah.
Then the other thing would be Dark Knight for that, because I did really like it, especially at the time.
We've talked so much Dark Knight over the last 99 episodes.
And then the new Rambo is the other one. Very, very good.
I forgot about that.
Very, very good.
I saw it.
Easily.
That was just called Rambo straight.
Just Rambo, yeah. That's easily up there with the original film.
It was just called what everybody else calls all the other ones.
Well, yeah. I mean, you started with First Blood.
Yeah.
Then you got...
You mean Rambo 1?
No, First Blood. Then Rambo, First Blood Part 2.
Yeah.
Then Rambo 3. Then Rambo.
Yeah, because Rambo 3 came out. Everybody's wondering where are Rambo 1 and 2.
But yeah, no, it's really, really good.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. So. I remember enjoying it, but also like not having like I probably like it the best of all the Rambos, but I didn't have a big attachment to the older films.
Yeah.
So.
Well, First Blood's amazing. The first movie's great, and this one's great, and that's pretty much all.
Yeah. Two not so much. 2 okay.
It's okay.
Yeah,
it's more of like an action movie.
Yeah.
It's not really too much interesting about it.
Finally, 2009.
Yeah.
What do you have for 2009?
Oh, well, this was an easy one. District 9. It's one of my all-time favorite movies again.
Okay. All right. I like Moon, but I know you haven't seen it yet. And my personal pick, I also did District 9. Like, my personal pick was Watchmen.
Watchmen is very impressive. I liked it a lot more than probably a lot of people did. And
well, absolutely.
I think that it's extremely impressive what they pulled off, given how difficult of a thing to make and to adapt and to do. But I do have like some significant issues with. I still feel like some of the choices that they made of
like how they adapted stuff.
How to adapt things or certain things that they changed, I really don't agree with. But like. It's very impressive. I think that it deserves like some mention on the basis of like how much of an achievement it is, despite its flaws. Much like with like the Lord of the Rings movies, where like they have a lot of flaws, but like it's just such a monumental cinematic achievement to do something like that. But for me, I mean, there's no question. District 9. District 9 is again up there on my all-time favorite films list.
Yeah, I mean, I really like District 9.
Absolutely perfect on every level.
All right, so District 9. All right, there we go. All right, so we actually have not a super long list here, which will make this easier. All right, so two. Okay, so we've got Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, Mulholland Drive, Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, Old Boy, Life Aquatic, Phantom of the Opera, History of Violence, The Prestige, Iron Man, Rambo, District 9, and then Eastern Promises, 300, There Will Be Blood. So, not a humongous list. All right.
Well, for definitely, I would say.
There's definitely some must like.
So I'd say.
Oh god.
Okay. Well, given that this is like a collective list, I think that because, unfortunately, this is really too bad, but because of your lack of familiarity with O Brother, Where Art Thou, I think you probably have to scratch that.
I have seen it though, and I know it is a very good film. Though I don't. It's not like I'm ignorant to it. It's not like Kingdom of Heaven.
But if you don't feel strongly about it, then. So.
I don't want to nix it yet.
All right.
Yeah.
So from there, I'd say Mulholland Drive definitely is a must.
Yeah, absolutely Mulholland.
That's a must for sure.
Yeah.
Old Boy is a must. I'd say.
Yes, absolutely. I immediately forgot how to spell the word old.
I'd say we could. History of Violence and Eastern Promises don't necessarily both have to be on. I could say we could pick between them.
Which way would you lean? History of Violence?
I'd probably lean Eastern Promises, but they're both incredible.
Yeah. Should do a tie.
Yeah.
We're just going Vigo all the way.
And I'd say, well, they're both Cronenberg as well. The Prestige, I think, definitely, yeah.
The Prestige, District 9,
and 300 for sure.
Okay. That's only 6, so that gives us plenty of room to work with.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are the ones that I'd say for me. Like, I mean, other than, I would say, or Brother Where Art Thou, I would say definitely.
Okay. Well, we've got room for it.
But
I am totally good with having.
And for me, if it was my own list, obviously, I would have to have like Family Opera and stuff like that on there, but. That doesn't really make a lot of sense when you haven't seen it, so...
Yeah, it's fortunate. I'm just going to asterisk that, so I remember. I'm going to asterisk Kingdom of Heaven, too, because, again, haven't seen it.
But,
I should asterisk There Will Be Blood.
If it was my own list, I definitely would have those.
So that's 7. So we still have room for 3 more.
What do you think of Casino Royale?
Yeah, that's... I almost just immediately wrote it down.
I don't know, man. It's really amazing.
It's real good.
Like, what a thing to come out of the gate with when you're revamping, you're rebooting the continuity of Bond. You've got a brand new Bond in place, and boom, to come out of the gate with that.
It is the only
fresh approach
of the new James Bond films, and I mean new, since Pierce Brosnan, including the Pierce Brosnan films, that I've gone back and watched again.
Yeah.
The Pierce Brosnan ones started off pretty good, and they ended up, unfortunately, in a questionable place. Yeah.
They were sort of patterned after the kind of Roger Moore sort of style.
Stuff.
More humor.
Rest in peace, Roger Moore.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But more humorous, more about like his charm and more that type of thing.
But Casino Royale was just
it's just so fresh. Like it was a breath of fresh air.
Casino Royale was an amazing film, regardless of it being a Bond film. And I think maybe that's where some of the other ones, this is only good because it's got all that James Bond, I don't want to say cliches, but, that sort of tropes. Casino Royale was just fantastic.
Actually, I saw an interesting list today. Rotten Tomatoes did a list for all the Bond films ranked.
Oh, jeez.
And they had the actual Rotten Tomatoes score. But then they did because then what they had is they actually ranked them they did like an adjusted score, which took into account like the amount of reviews and stuff.
Oh, okay.
So that it was a little bit adjusted.
Oh, because of course some of the older stuff will not.
Yeah. Sometimes it's not, and it was interesting to see. I mean, generally those scores were fairly close, but they wanted to kind of wait it a little bit, and that was sort of interesting to see, and. Casino Royale was number 2 on that, which was not terribly surprising. But basically, the top 5 was basically all Connery, like the early Connerys, until the very top, and then it was like Casino Royale at 2 and Skyfall at 1, because everyone loves Skyfall. To me, it's good, but I think it's very overrated.
Yeah.
I think Casino Royale is definitely the best of the Daniel Craig stuff. Yeah. Skyfall is really good, but it's definitely overrated. But yeah, so it was funny to see that, because I was like, yeah, okay, that's, a little obvious, a little on the nose, but hard to argue with. So.
Yeah, no, it's what was the first one? What was the first Sean Connery one? What was number 1? It was Casino Royale was number 2. You said.
Yeah, and then Skyfall was 1.
Oh, Skyfall was.
That's what I'm saying. Is that like right?
Oh, I thought
everyone,
Sean Connery one was number 1.
No, it's like the rest of the top 5 was basically all Sean Connery.
Yeah,
like the rest of like top almost 10, because all the early Sean Connerys are usually weighted so highly, and then everything else kind of in the middle. So it is pretty funny.
Or Timothy Dalton.
Yeah. Well.
Okay. Right.
Living Daylights is good. So what do we have so far?
Mulholland Drive, Old Boy,
yeah,
Eastern Promises,
yeah,
The Prestige, District 9, 300, Oh Brother Where Art Thou, and Casino Royale. So we got 8.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that.
That's pretty good.
I think
that's an amazing list of films.
I'm pretty happy with that. I think anything after that.
Do we want to slide?
Anything after that is pretty much icing, I'd say.
I mean,
if there's anything you feel really strongly about,
I feel. I mean, considering. I mean, I really like Iron Man.
Yeah.
I feel Dark Knight. And it's so good.
It is.
But, I feel like, just putting that on there. Like, why you gotta eat up? Like, you're so good, Dark Knight. Why you gotta eat up one of these spots?
Yeah, but at the same time, you want to be fair and give credit where it's due.
And so it kind of looks like we're probably not gonna have room for the Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy. I mean, we know
unless we just
stick it on.
Put it on there. Yeah.
I mean, it's just like.
But I don't think it's really necessary.
No. Again, we've also given that movie plenty of props on this podcast. Oh, those movies, plenty of props on this podcast.
Yeah. So I saw some reviews on the new one today.
Oh yeah.
Just like the little mini reviews. Nothing detailed, but just the overall sound bites.
Yeah.
And very interesting. Interesting reviews. It seems like it's either kind of. It runs the gamut between everything from it just sort of continues the slide downwards that has happened steadily from the first one on to kind of nothing special, just another one, pretty much indistinguishable from the last few, to everything to best one since the first one. So the reviews are really running the gamut. Yeah. I haven't really seen any real consensus yet. So who knows?
I don't. That's rough because you're just oh great, all that information is meaningless.
Yeah,
I can't.
Could be anything. It sort of just depends on who's coming from.
I guess it would come down to the source of the.
I think Iron Man. I might have to say Iron Man because I mean. It deserves a lot of recognition for starting the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which now is rules our lives.
Yeah.
And if it hadn't been for that, and it hadn't been for it working well, then none of what came after would have happened. Sure. So that alone is pretty special.
Okay.
Also, like I said, when you look at it now, sure, it kind of seems quaint because it's real small scale. There's almost no action. The effects are a lot less sophisticated, yada, yada. But it gets the most important things right, which is good story, good characters, good actors doing those characters.
Yeah.
Debatably, there might be a couple of issues there.
Couple people maybe acting acting a little acting a little higher than.
But that was dealt with.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think we'd probably have to go with Iron Man.
Yeah, okay.
Somewhere on there.
All right, so that gives us one more slot.
Yeah.
And we got Rambo.
Yeah.
Two Towers, Life Aquatic.
So are we doing Dark Knight or not doing Dark Knight?
Oh, that's if we're not doing Dark Knight. If we put Dark Knight on there, we're done. Yeah, I know.
It's hard not to, but at the same time,
it feels a little on the nose.
We got a lot of comic book movies.
Yeah.
We already have a Christopher Nolan movie.
We do already have a Christopher Nolan film.
It's a tough one. That's a real tough one.
Like I said, I really like Dark Knight, but I'm also I'm fine with leaving it off.
Yeah, but we're trying to do a definitive.
But also our personal definitive too.
Yeah,
but I can also
I like Dark Knight a lot.
I do. I'm gonna just put it on there.
What were the other choices again?
It was Dark Knight, Rambo, Two Towers, or Life Aquatic.
I really want to get Life
I
Aquatic
really
on.
want to. That's the thing. I feel like
Because
we're
it's something
shortchanging Life
different
Aquatic.
than anything else that we already have. We gotta do Life Aquatic.
Okay.
You know what? We could put
Iron Man / Dark Knight.
okay, because they were both kind of big franchise. Same year.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. Literally came out the same year.
Yeah.
Big comic franchise. The opposing franchises both did really well.
It's a The Life Aquatic, isn't it? Yeah.
The Life Aquatic,
The Life Aquatic.
with Steve Zissou.
With Steve Zissou.
Yeah, I feel like we need that because it's the only one. It's so different from anything else on the list.
I mean, like by far, like I guess other than maybe Iron Man, like. Well, no, I guess I was gonna say no. Our Brother Out There is also funny. I was gonna say we didn't know other comedies. Oh wait, no, Our Brother Out There is quite funny.
Yeah, that's a comedy for sure.
By far a comedy.
Super comedy.
Okay, now the rough part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now the easy part's done.
All right.
Now we gotta put these in order.
Right.
Okay.
Well, it's just a matter of.
Okay, I guess. Which of these can we just immediately say is in like a 9 or a 10 spot? Like, I know. Like,
Well, what?
I as far as I can see, we have 10 number ones on here, which is a problem. But
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to how would you do the order if you were making this list yourself? Like normally we make.
That's what I'm saying.
We make
have
our
10
lists.
number ones.
We make our lists. Then we bring them to the table.
See, I have some weird bias here, which would completely screw this up.
Okay.
Well, because my number one would be 300.
Right.
But I don't feel like that is also a realistic number
Okay.
one for
Here's the thing about that, because we haven't really talked about that too much, and we haven't really made it too clear.
Yeah.
We've mentioned
joked about it.
We've mentioned 300 a couple of times. Okay, so the reason why we rate 300 so highly, because probably a lot of people don't really understand that, but if you look at what it is and what it's trying to do, and the things that people, what movies need to have,
Yeah.
it's damn near perfect. Like it just is. And you can not like it, or it can be not to your taste.
Yeah.
But the fact is, it does everything.
Both on a technical and on an artistic level, it didn't make any mistakes.
Everything that it's trying to do. There's no parts that make me go.
Well, that was unnecessary.
Well, why did they do that? That didn't that was a dumb way to do that, or that bit didn't look good. There's
that didn't work
almost every movie has that. Like I talked about with the Lord of the Rings movies, great films, very amazing cinematic achievement, but you can pick apart all throughout those movies what was with that choice? Why did they do like that? Why did that look like that? Why does that have to be there? 300 doesn't have that kind of stuff.
I think it helps that 300 is also very lean.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It doesn't open itself up to as much as many flaws because of the fact that it keeps very tight and lean.
I have one tiny complaint about 300.
Okay.
And that is the scene with the Fates, I feel goes on for a little too long. But that is about the only thing I can say. I just feel like that scene is just maybe it's very very fantastical scene, and I feel like it gets a little it's a little drawn out for what the end result of when he goes to see the Fates,
right.
And the end result of that is I feel they could have and I mean when I say it's too long, I mean they could have knocked 15 seconds off of that.
Interesting.
But that's really about it. That's and I think that may have to do with just the movie is very. I mean, 300 is very. It's a very
push forward
kind of movie, and that scene is very we're just gonna sit and watch this for a bit kind of scene, and that's maybe why it's
a nice change of pace though.
Yeah. I guess that's true.
You can't just keep up a constant assault,
Yeah.
You gotta have slower moments to sort of.
But yeah, I mean, years ago I made that joke when we went and saw Iron Man, and I was so blown away because I love the trailers. I'm a comic book guy. I'm so hoping that they didn't screw it up, and it was so amazing. Walking out of Iron Man, and being this is what comic movies can be done.
Yeah.
We are in for the best decade.
Right.
Turns out we were.
And then they just kept doing it.
And then I was unfortunately, Iron Man is still only my second favorite movie because I saw 300 like a week ago again.
Yeah.
But as a joke. But
it's great. Like but I mean,
but I realized
do
putting it in number one.
Do we penalize it for the fact that it is a bit less sort of ambitious in the sense of
it's the perfect sum of its parts?
Yeah.
But maybe those parts aren't.
Yeah.
Like compared to say like Eastern, like the
Yeah.
story of Eastern.
So do we
Promise
penalize it for that, or do we reward it for the fact that it does what it does perfectly?
And this is always the issue I have every time we do any kind of like top
All right.
five.
Well, okay. Here, let's put it another way. Make it a little easier.
Okay.
If it isn't going to be one,
What is?
what should be? So, what else from that list do you think takes everything to a level so great that it could potentially trump that for one? Because I know exactly where you're coming from.
Yeah.
As much as I love 300, I also feel weird about the idea of putting it as the number one film of the decade.
Yeah.
That seems a little strange.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I could look at anyone with a straight face and say 300 best film of the decade. That's a hard thing to say. Yet it really is just kind of perfect.
In the same boat is a movie that is also like an amazing sum of its parts, and I'd say like Eastern Promises. Is super good.
It is extremely good.
I'm rolling around like The Prestige, but like the part of what makes The Prestige so good is
The Prestige is great.
Mystery
It
and the
seems
gimmick
like
of it. Like
it's more of a.
the second time you watch The Prestige, it is not as great as the first time.
It's
and
more.
It's just that unfortunate part of a mystery.
But the beautiful thing about that is you can show it to other people and
haven't
watch
seen
them
it.
watch
Yes,
it.
yes.
And you can be like, that just happened. The
versus,
Prestige.
like I said,
The Prestige feels like top 5 material, but not necessarily a
top
1.
Yeah.
I think Eastern Promises is probably a good choice. Because I mean,
Old Boy also kind of peaks for me too, but at the same time, I'm like, but again,
that's also be top 5, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, Eastern Promises, you have stellar acting, like really, acting doesn't get any better.
No, yeah.
You have an interesting story. You have mystery, but not sort of frustrating mystery.
No.
In the end, you know exactly what's going on, but it's the unfolding of the plot that's interesting. You have good action scenes, not action like an action movie, but there's like the fight.
The shower fight, the infamous shower fight.
The fight, in the baths.
The fighting also, like all the action stuff is.
It's well done, is what I'm saying.
And it doesn't bring you out of because the movie is also like it's quite plotty, quite like heavy in that regard. And you often when movies like that have an action scene, it's just like, well, we need to break this up, and it's the like that shower scene fight. It is as brutal as the rest of the plot that fight is. No, okay. Well, let's throw that temporarily at number 1.
Yep, I like it.
So I guess we just put 300 at 2?
Sure.
Okay. And then Prestige, Old Boy, and... Old Boy, top 5.
I'd say probably I'd go Old Boy 3.
Old Boy 3? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'd probably go Prestige 4. Right. And probably the Iron Man Batman Begins, Iron Man Dark Knight combo, probably 5.
Okay. All right. Oh wow. Okay.
That's sort of what I would think.
I was going to
because I'm trying to weigh. Yeah. I'm trying to weigh overall like the impact they had.
Yeah.
How did you feel when you saw that in the theater?
Mm-hmm.
What was the sort of like effect, or not in the theater as the case might be for some of them, but certainly for some of those, definitely saw them in the theater. Okay.
Okay, so
that would be how I would look at it, but
it's definitely wrong. Like I realize, like these are top 10 movies, so being at 10 isn't really like a punishment.
No,
but I'm starting to get to that like.
We already whittled it down. We already whittled it down, and all of the stuff that we had was all good stuff.
Yeah. I don't want to like put Casino Royale at like 8, but like I kind of feel. Do we put Life Aquatic or Mulholland Drive at 10? Because I feel. While I really like Mulholland Drive,
it's not. I mean, it's not for everyone.
It's not for everyone.
It's a bit, sort of. It's a little.
Like, just in terms of like overall, like, does it really stand up to Casino Royale, District 9?
I would say let's I mean, it's a bit of a squeaker, so I'd say, like, maybe Life Aquatic, probably 10.
10.
But that's still good. I mean, 10 is 10 out of, you know, hundreds of movies we saw during that period of time. And then, yeah, probably
Mulholland Drive at 9?
Go Mulholland Drive 9 and probably, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, again, if this was just strictly a personal list, I would probably put it higher just because I am a huge Lynch fan. But, and Naomi Watts fan, but, you know.
District 9?
But I think as an overall, you know, because you got to kind of, like, even it out a little bit, so I think it works.
District 9 or Brother We're Out There at 6?
Well, they're different. I would say,
the thing, it's so hard
for
to
me
compare.
personally, if someone were to ask which of these two is more your favorite, I would go with District 9.
Overall,
I love District 9 so much. But part of that was because, you know, when you see a Coen Brothers film, there's a certain expectation.
True.
And I'm not saying Oh Brother failed to meet those expectations. It absolutely met them, and it's a great film. It's one of their best. But the thing about District 9 is that we didn't know what it was going to be.
That's true.
We saw trailers, and we were like, that looks like it could be good. And it ended up being way better than anyone could have imagined, right?
Yeah.
And
unlike Mulholland Drive, well, still nobody knows what that is.
And we're not alone in that because it got fantastic reviews. And when it came out, people were like, wow, this is not... We weren't expecting something of this quality from, you know, a relatively small, you know, film from, like, an unknown filmmaker, right? I mean, Neil Blomkamp hadn't done any... He had done short films.
That's it,
You know, and he was this, you know...
So we put District 9 at 6.
For me, I think that coming out of the gate with something like that film
All right.
is just, you know, it's like... You know, it's like Lucas coming out with, even though I realize it wasn't technically his first film, but it's like Lucas coming out with Star Wars, you know.
Yeah, I guess,
And, like, people just being like, we weren't expecting that, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, that wasn't even his first film. People knew who Lucas was, but he certainly had not done anything like that. You know, I'm grasping for comparisons, but it's that type of thing where, like, you know, or even... Oh, yeah, I keep bumping it over.
Right.
Or even, you know, like you were talking about with Iron Man, how, you know, going into the Iron Man originally, who would have thought what it would really be? It could have been anything. It could have been total flop. It could have been terrible.
Could have been so
It could have been a disaster,
I mean,
right?
We in some ways, we were a little bit future-proofed against it because, like, the ad campaign behind that movie was so enormous.
Yeah.
Like...
It looked good, but...
We had a good idea.
It looked good, but...
People were already falling in love with him, with Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark before
absolutely. I mean, it looked like it would be good, but, you know, we didn't really know. And District 9 looked like it'd be good, but, you know, we had even less to go on.
Yeah. And,
you know?
And also, like, I guess this is neither this makes it fall neither into the plus or the minus column, but it's, like, also never duplicated. Like, he has not been able
Sadly.
to... Like, he's done, in my opinion, some stuff that I liked a lot more than the public liked, but nothing that touches... Like, nothing that comes close to District 9.
It is a bit too bad in a way, but, you know, that's the way it goes sometimes.
And again, you know, maybe that's, you know, one of those things, like, that happens, and we've actually seen a lot of that recently.
Oh, yeah.
With,
It's
like,
very common.
New director, first movie, amazing. Second movie... Like, all right,
yeah,
and
decent.
Then a case of like things like, you know, like, well, how much control did he have in that second movie? What is a case of too much studio metal? Like, is it his fault?
Did he get like
the Fantastic Four Chronicles
or Alien 3?
Alien 3, yeah, exactly.
Where you know, it's like it's like say what you will, like some people like certain things about Alien 3, some people don't like certain things, you know, but it doesn't strike you as like you wouldn't put it in with all of Fincher's other films because it wasn't really a Fincher film. Like he was there, he tried, but
director,
he had no real
you
know, creative control at all.
Well, because he was
new, and you know, he just didn't have the clout. And
definitely like you're new.
He didn't have that.
Also, we need you to pick up the third film. After. Two of the greatest
two classics.
Two classic films.
Talk about pressure. And then with all the script, like all the drama of the script what it had gone through script wise.
It did not matter who was the director of that. It was
but if it had been somebody,
maybe that could have pushed back,
on it, right?
Yeah. But,
I mean, even
to be fair,
Ridley Scott.
Maybe that's why they took
Ridley Scott,
Fincher, because they're like, we know this guy can get the job done. Also, we can make him do what we want.
Well, like Ridley Scott now, he basically says that basically like he should never have stepped away from the series, because he sort of feels like.
Well, what did he step away to do?
Like, what do you do after
this?
After Alien? Alien was 79, right? Because remember, there's such a huge gap between them all, right? There's an average 5 to 6 year gap between each Alien film.
Which makes it tough.
So, I mean, he did tons of other stuff. I mean, he did Blade Runner after Alien, right? But the point being just that...
No, I mean, what did he do after, like, between Aliens and...
Well,
Alien 3.
I mean, obviously, I'm glad that he stepped away in the sense of like because then we got Cameron stepping in to do Aliens, and if that had never happened, we wouldn't have Aliens, which would be terrible.
Yeah.
But I do kind of know what he means in the sense that it meant that it went off and became this other thing, whereas he would have had the clout at the time to be able to say no, we got to keep this on track. Yeah.
I mean, James
Cameron
stepping away from Terminator, same situation.
Yeah,
right?
or a Cameron, right? Like somebody like James Cameron, no studio mook is going to tell James Cameron how to make a movie. Yeah. So,
but this is that kind of thing. The studio had an agenda for Aliens 3, and they weren't going to bring on someone like Cameron to direct it. Otherwise, they would have. Or they would have.
I think he just probably wasn't interested at the time.
I mean, they would have tried to bring on somebody like him.
Yeah.
They brought on Fincher.
Well, I think they brought on Fincher because they saw his artistic sensibilities, and that it would have been cool.
Dude,
the problem is that they
say about Aliens 3, his artistic sensibilities didn't show.
The problem is they made the mistake they always make, which is that they hire somebody for like the little indie stuff that they've done, right? I mean, Fincher was a music video director,
exactly.
Yeah. Which I mean, excuse me, Ridley Scott had been a commercial director, right? So. That was kind of like before there was music videos. Really, it was like commercial directors was like where you would look for the kind of more artistic stuff. Mm-hmm. So they're sort of similar backgrounds in a way. Short form, high on visual, impact, high on creativity, right? Yeah. So I mean, in a way, there is a bit of a similarity between the commercial field and the music video field. So they were probably looking for somebody who had that kind of sensibility, but the problem is they did that studio thing where you hire someone for their creative sensibilities, and then you smother them with industry BS, and that's studios do that all the time. We've seen it a million times. It's probably not going to go away. And that's why it's great when these guys are able to get into a position where
they never seem to learn because it never works out.
Yeah.
When did that ever work out?
Never that I can think of. But that's why it's great when these guys are able to get into the power places of having power and having some clout in the industry where they can just say no. Yeah. And they can do it their own way.
Thank God,
and I mean, it's still
Fincher's experience with it. Yeah. He didn't just be like, I'm going back to music videos, screw movies.
Although it does still happen because, for example, Joss Whedon, had a lot of trouble making Age of Ultron. That kind of really put him off the Marvel thing. And then, and a lot of people were really frustrated by the experience of making that. Like that was, and I think it really shows in the film that it's a much less focused and and then of course. As a result of that,
feels like a much more commercially driven.
It was such a difficult thing for everyone, and Kevin Feige, it was a hard thing for him. So of course that resulted in him. He went and talked to the head of Disney, and they, and of course Marvel Studios is like such a cash cow for Disney right now. You don't mess with Disney's cash cow. So the head of Disney just pulled them right out of the Marvel hierarchy and put them as a separate thing, and had them now they report directly to him. And Marvel doesn't have any say in it, which is unfortunate because it has meant even more separation from, for example, the TV and movie properties.
Because
the TV stuff still falls under Marvel itself.
I mean, at this point,
it's sort of too bad.
So because we have the cable TV stuff like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., then we have the Netflix stuff, then we have the...
But it is sort of too bad because that stuff feels a lot less unified than it probably should be, considering it is theoretically all in the same Marvel Cinematic Universe. So in that sense, it's too bad. But on the other hand, it also means that now they're much more unfettered to like go about their business and do what they've been doing that's been working, and not having the interference from Marvel that they were having, which unfortunately was a huge issue. So, anyways,
so all of that means District 9 is number 6.
Sure.
Yeah. So now we still have 7 and 8 to fill.
Yep.
We have Oh Brother Where Art Thou and Casino Royale.
All right. Well,
I'm okay with that as 7 and 8 in that order.
Oh Brother 7
and
Casino Royale 8. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Oh Brother Where Art Thou, like, it's unfortunate, again, as I said, it's unfortunate you're not as familiar with it, because it really is one of the Coen's best.
Yeah.
It's a incredible, like, to have that as their follow-up to well, heck, I mean, did they even make anything in between? They're so prolific. They may have even made, I was going to say that as their follow-up to Big Lebowski, but they're so prolific. They may have even made something else in between.
I don't think so. Because The Big Lebowski was 2000 or was 98. Yeah, I don't think they had anything in 99
or 2000.
Oh yeah, I guess yeah. Because Oh Brother Where Art Thou is 2000.
I don't know.
It is 2000.
I just feel like, or is it 2000?
Yeah, Oh Brother Where Art Thou is 2000.
Okay, well that's probably it then.
Yeah.
Oh, that's probably it then.
That's probably
but seriously, like, they're just so like, they are very they're so prolific that I feel like, okay, I can't find filmography. There we go. Jeez, Josie. Good thing we have editing.
I definitely see, like, man, if I had seen some of these other films, I would have definitely made this a lot harder because we would have more choices to pick from. Like, thank goodness I had.
Yeah, it was the next one after.
It was the next one? Okay, good.
Yeah.
I'm like, thank goodness I haven't seen There Will Be Blood.
There was
because I don't know how we would have stuck that on this list.
Ethan co-wrote another movie in between.
Yeah, they did work, but yeah.
Because they've done a lot of.
And then what came right after?
Oh Brother There, and then The Man Who Wasn't There.
The Man Who Wasn't There. Okay.
Yeah.
Which actually that may be my, like, I like it, but it's probably my least favorite.
I actually haven't seen it. That's one I missed.
That's good. And then, like, Fargo after?
No, Fargo was 90s.
Oh,
we've already talked about Fargo.
Fargo's way
then it was Intolerable Cruelty.
Oh.
And then The Lady Killers. And then No Country for Old Men. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember nothing about Intolerable Cruelty.
It's like a romantic comedy. It's George Clooney, Catherine Zeta-Jones. That's what it is. George Clooney and Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Oh yes. Okay. It's vaguely coming back to me. Yeah. Okay.
Not considered one of their best.
No, I mean,
it's one of those kind of middle of the road ones.
Yeah, and the remake, they did the remake of
Lady Killers, which is generally considered one of their worst.
Yeah, and I actually put off seeing it for quite some time because I heard nothing good about it, and I liked the original.
Yeah.
And I was like, do I need to see it? And then I was just like, you know what, I see it. And I was like, that's good. I don't like, it's not as good as the original, and I can definitely see how, if you're a fan of the original, like, turning it into this, like, you know what it is? It's not very Coen Brothers-y. Yeah. And that might just be because it's a remake versus, like, how the rest of the stuff is much more original. Well, more original than that. Yeah. Maybe that's why it feels kind of off a bit.
I don't know. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen either, to be honest. So.
You haven't seen
The
Lady Killers? Like,
no. No.
Well, the original's, like, pretty old.
Yeah. That's cool.
Early 50s, I think.
That's right, man.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Okay. So let's run this through, see how it feels.
Yeah.
And then we can make changes. All right.
Okay.
So we got number 10, Life Aquatic.
Yeah.
Number 9, Mulholland Drive.
Okay.
Number 8 is Casino Royale.
All right.
Number 7, Oh Brother Where Art Thou.
Cool.
6 is District 9.
All right.
5 is Iron Man Dark Knight.
Okay.
4 is The Prestige. 3 is Old Boy. 2 is 300. 1 is Eastern Promises.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I think the lower ones maybe. I'm not 100% sure on. You could probably tweak the lower ones, but I'm pretty happy with, like, the top sort of 5 or 6 or so.
gosh. I'm just wondering if...
Yeah, no.
I wonder if the Prestige really hangs with the other ones we've got in the top 5 there.
Maybe not.
Like...
I don't know. I'm a bit biased on it.
Yeah, like, me too. Like, I'm really...
But I can see your point. But
yeah. So on the lower end, what would you move around?
Oh, I'm not. I wouldn't say I necessarily would move them. I'm just saying I think I'd be open to moving some movement there because.
I mean, Casino Royale maybe to 6 and everything else down, or just maybe, yeah, because that would push District 9 all the way down to 8.
What's 7?
Oh, Brother. Yeah.
Don't really want to move that.
Yeah.
If anything, that should be higher.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, because if we push it up to 6, then, I mean, we could just swap District 9 over to Rarta.
What's District 9 at now? 6?
6. That's 6 and 7.
And Oh Brothers at 7?
7.
And Prestige is 5?
Prestige is 4. 5 is Iron Man Dark Knight. 5 is our tie in the middle there.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know what you mean about Prestige, but at the same time, I just feel like it does so much interesting stuff. I mean, like...
Again, it's one of those, like, I really like
it has flashbacks in flashbacks.
Yeah.
You know, whenever I recommend The Prestige to people, I'm like, I really recommend it. It's a great film. You should really watch it. But just make sure you're paying attention and you're awake when you're watching it. Because if you miss something, you will be so lost.
In some ways, actually, like seeing it in the theater, actually maybe the worst way to see it.
I would agree.
Because it's so...
Yeah.
Because it's such a big screen, there's so much else...
You don't have time to, like, contemplate it, you can stop it and be like, replay a section if you miss something, actually, or...
In some ways, like, a number of these movies are kind of like... The theater is actually the worst place to... Like, seeing Mulholland Drive in the theater, absolute waste of time. Like, you're going to walk out of there and be like...
But...
What?
I feel like that's okay, because originally it was intended to be a television project, right? And basically...
Gosh.
It was intended as...
Kind of I remember that now. That's kind of...
It was supposed to be a pilot.
Yeah.
And then it didn't get picked up. So then, a few years later, Lynch went back, or, you know, at least a couple of years later anyways, when Lynch went back and actually got, like, the cast and stuff back to do some more stuff, and they actually shot, like, additional stuff to make it a film and released it as a film. But originally it was absolutely intended as a television project. It was going to be like the new Twin Peaks in a way, you know, in a sense.
Would have been.
Well, in a sense, like in the fact that it would have been a new Lynch television project, but you know, instead we just ended up with that movie.
Yeah. It's definitely, I don't know, like, what year was that? It was 2002? 2001.
Yeah.
I don't know if 2001 television watchers would have appreciated a new Lynch TV series.
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
It's really hard to say.
I feel like that might have been too early for the new TV revolution, you know?
In a sense that, obviously, now it's better with the amount of...
Like even like a few years later would have probably been fine.
But I mean, now with the amount of, you know, outlets that you have with different kind of streaming...
It could have been on Netflix
service,
or like
different kinds of streaming services, or all the, like, premium... things that you have now with, like, you know, Stars and places like this, you know, certainly, there's a lot more room for that type of thing now. Mm-hmm. In fact, if anything, there's almost too much room for it. Like they're always kind of like clamoring for like more content because they have so much space to fill. You know, I mean, look at Netflix, right? Like they have an enormous, they took out that enormous nest egg of, you know, money put aside for like production wise, and they've been putting out stuff as fast as they can, you know.
Well, they put out there was that thing they said like whatever it was, I think it was like by 2020, it might even been by 2018. I think it was 2018 because it seemed when it was a press release that came out like early 2016 seemed like that's only 2 years away. That seems real close. They were like, by 2018 we want 75% original programming Netflix. And I was like, come on now. And it's like, they seem to be well on their way to... They're not going to make that goal.
Yeah.
But, like, that goal doesn't seem as absurd as it did.
I don't know if I really agree with that concept even, because, I mean... you're still going to want a place where you can just go and watch movies and stuff, because there's no video stores anymore.
I think sort of what they meant is you can get a Netflix subscription, and for the average viewer, the majority of what he's going to watch is going to end up being
Netflix content, and it'll actually be enough to sustain. I mean, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, they should always keep those movies going, because where else you can't really. I mean, the only other way to, like,
I feel that is more their having the movies and the TV shows. Is
because I mean, the only other way that you're watching movies that way and stuff like is, you know, like if you're buying physical media, which is kind of declined, and, you know, doing, like, you know, one-off, like, rent it from Google for $5 or whatever, which is the same exact as what a movie rental, you know, going to the movie store was. So, you know, the Netflix thing of just like, I mean, maybe wait a little bit longer, but you just have them in this library that, because it is like a library. It's more like a library than like a video store, right? So the sort of Google iTunes kind of approach is more like the video store. You know, you pick what you want, you pay for it, you get like 24 hours or whatever to watch it or whatever it is. So that's like more like sort of the video store style. And then like the Netflix is more like the library. You have a list of things that's available, and you just decide, I want this, and it's no additional cost. You know, I think they need to keep that. But having their own original content is great too, because it makes them like a much more interesting sort of destination.
All their original content, their biggest, and this is like, they're like, Netflix knows this and they can't do anything about it problem, where global distribution on TV and movies sucks. Because like they can't. Netflix would love to just be able to offer everybody everything everywhere. And they're completely hamstrung by that.
Political issues there.
It's so nonsense, and they're like, we can't do anything about this. Our original content, we can literally offer to everybody anywhere, you know.
In some cases.
Well,
there are some exceptions due to the fact that in the very early days of Netflix, because they didn't have a strong foothold in certain countries, they made deals for third parties to show their content in other countries where they weren't not currently present.
Like a good idea at the
and
time,
now, you know, they have a bit of that kind of Marvel problem of, you know, where Marvel certain characters they can't use because they've made these movie deals in the past with other studios. Netflix kind of has that. I mean, that will end. There'll be a contract that will run out, and then it'll be done. But some of their early stuff, like House of Cards and stuff like that, they can't offer in certain countries because they have pre-existing deals with companies in those countries.
You know, and it's definitely one of those like long term they'll benefit fine from that.
I mean, and like I say, those are all limited contracts.
On those deals, so,
and those are limited contracts anyway. So I mean, those will run out. But sort of, it's a bit weird. But certainly anything they do now, they can release everywhere at once.
So we're fine with Iron Man Dark Knight being 5? Or do we want to swap it with District 9?
I feel like, okay, here's my thing about that. Everything I said before about, like, because District 9, you know, it was such a surprise. It was just like, wow, you know, here's this filmmaker that nobody's ever heard of, and it just came out of the gate. And it was like, boom. So, I mean, it's very impressive for that reason. But at the same time, Iron Man and Dark Knight, I do kind of feel like...
I mean, I do feel it's a bit of a meme that we put those together, because that's just like, those two movies can kind of just bully a bunch of these other movies.
But I mean, for me,
but they are.
They came out the same year.
Standalone, they are,
They came out the same year. They're both, you know, big comic movies that kind of got something going again. I mean, you know, Batman Begins had come out earlier, but you know... Dark Knight did like 3 times as much in the box office as Batman Begins did, you know, almost. You know, it was the real breakthrough.
It was a runaway success.
It was the breakthrough one, right? So they both kind of got something going. You know, they both got very positive reviews. They both kind of set a bar, you know. So I mean, for that, I feel like
interesting how that panned out, though.
Yeah, well.
The Iron Man bar was a bar set that is continuously surpassed.
But it's very different. But it's a very different situation because the Dark Knight films were always they were always only going to be, you know, probably, you know, the 3 that they're ended up being.
I'm just talking in terms of quality of film. Of DC comic book film versus.
But
you know.
no, but it's an important distinction to make because the Dark Knight films were very much specifically a project, you know, that Christopher Nolan came in, did those films, moved on to something else. It was like the Back to the Future movies or something. It was like they were their own thing, whereas Marvel was specifically trying to start an ongoing franchise.
I guess, to be fair, we had Iron Man, which was a smashing success. Everyone loves Iron Man.
Yeah.
And had 2 sequels that, while I think made more money, weren't as critically liked or generally liked.
Yeah.
And that same year we had the Incredible Hulk, which unfortunately kind of fell. There was a lot of. I mean, I love the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
But
it's the best Hulk movie.
It's by far.
It's probably not saying much. But.
Well, but because, unfortunately, because of Dang Lee and the Hulk.
Yeah, there was a lot of factors involved.
There was a lot of factors.
But to this day,
slip between the cracks.
To this day, a lot of people kind of rank it as like one of the worst of the Marvel movies, if not the worst.
Yeah, of the Hulk. Yeah, which I really don't understand.
Of the current, like the MCU movies.
Yeah. That's one that really surprised me.
And I mean, I guess that's technically true in the sense that, I mean, it's in the lower echelon, but it was one of the first ones, and I mean, sure, it's not as good as like the best ones, but it's not bad. Yeah. People act like it's bad, and I just don't get that. It's like, why is it bad? It's not bad.
As much as I liked Age of Ultron, I'd put it in front of that.
Oh man, that's a tough one, because Age of Ultron had some great moments.
Well, and that's a thing.
Certainly,
to me, Age of Ultron is.
But it was a mess.
Film.
It was such a mess.
That was it.
Like it had great moments, but it didn't come together.
There was nothing messy about the Incredible Hulk, and I feel if anything, possibly the Incredible Hulk, it didn't reach far enough.
It was lean, mean, and green.
Yeah.
It just kind of trucked along. And there's really nothing to really fault about it.
And of course, maybe if they had attempted to make a bigger spectacle of it. But of course now we've got like a completely different actor playing the Hulk, so
which is fine. I mean, it is what it is.
Everybody likes that rough.
Like they were taking a big risk by having Ed Norton in there in the first one in the first place, because I mean, he's known for wanting to have a lot of creative input on the films that he does, and Marvel has varying kind of. Their reception to that is not always, because they have a picture of how they want to do things. So that didn't really work out. But I feel like they kind of should have known that was going to be a possibility, because Ed Norton's kind of known for that sort of thing. I'm not saying he's difficult. He's just. I mean, he's done a lot
of really great stuff.
Yeah, he's just particular about having a certain amount of creative input and having his opinions. So. They I don't know.
Yeah,
that's a whole nother discussion. But anyways, moving on.
Not on this list. All right. Okay. So.
No, I mean, it wouldn't make the list, but it's good.
I guess we could.
Getting a little bit of insight into your process here, because we normally do our lists separately and then present them to each other when they're done.
I mean.
Is this what the agonizing is like when you're making your lists?
It is definitely one. Yeah, it's just.
Is this why you always finish them like the day of, pretty much?
Yeah, like the final, like, okay, this is 4, this is 5. I'm not changing it. I guess what the thing is I just have to, because we normally do a top 5. Like 5 feels good, and then like. 6 through 10, those are lesser films, and it's just like no.
Yeah, they're lesser out of hundreds.
Yeah, it's
right.
It's fine. Like having
hundreds. I mean, when I was looking through the 2000s, I was
having like a Casino Royale at 8.
Yeah,
is fine.
Yeah,
because it's still the probably. I mean, like one of the best.
Yeah,
like James Bond films.
Absolutely,
and also just an amazing.
Yeah,
like film.
I mean, it really comes down to.
I'm good. I feel.
I agree.
I feel if we push anything around where it's really for naught. Like we're not. It won't really change the status.
I agree.
All right, so I'm gonna run through this one last time.
All right.
All right. So number 10 is The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou.
Excellent. Great film.
Number 9 is Mulholland Drive.
Excellent. Great film.
Number 8, Casino Royale.
Excellent. Great film.
Number 7 is Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Could have been better.
Could have been better. I was waiting for it. That's trash.
Total garbage.
Total garbage. Number 6 is District 9.
Yeah.
Number 5 is a tie between Iron Man and The Dark Knight.
Yeah. That's our little cheat one there.
Our cheat one, yeah.
But, you know, it makes sense.
Yeah. Number 4 is The Prestige. Number 3 is Old Boy. Number 2 is 300. And number 1, Eastern Promises.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
I
happy
feel
with
good
that.
about that.
I'm pretty happy with that. Especially the top 5.
Yeah. Yeah, that's real
That's
good.
probably pretty close to what my actual top 5 would be if I was to do that. Like, it's close.
Yeah. 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 I feel I would have goofed and, well, not.
I think the only difference for me, just because of my personal attachment, is
Yeah.
probably instead of Iron Man and Dark Knight.
Right.
As much as those, like, I like
Yeah.
those, but just in terms of like emotional attachment,
like, Lord
I
of
would
the Rings
put
on there?
no, I would put Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, Phantom of the Opera. Right,
Yeah,
right.
but I think the top 4 is pretty much
Yeah.
that would basically be my top 4. I think.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Like,
I think probably like the only like real like big difference for me would have maybe I would have had Inside Life Aquatic. I would have had Big Fish, but that's like
Big Fish is great. I mean, we talked about that at the beginning, and I said Big Fish was cool. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, if you had really wanted Big Fish, I would have gone for it.
It's one of those like
Either way.
have thought as much about Life Aquatic without you bringing it up.
Yeah.
And like if this had been a normal
It really
episode,
jumped out.
You would have brought up Life Aquatic, and
Yeah.
I would have gone.
I mean,
yeah,
I don't know.
duh.
I was looking
Yeah.
at the list, and it really jumped out because I was like, Left Aquatic is damn great. And we've had, unfortunately, just because of how we've done it and where things have fallen and stuff like that, we've had very little Wes Anderson talk so far. Mm-hmm. And I feel kind of like we've been missing out a little bit because I really do like them. It's just, you know, there's so much other stuff that I kind of like a little bit more, or in a different way, maybe. I'm not as like emotionally attached to Wes Anderson films as I am to a lot of other stuff, so I sort of see them as like they're good, but they're a bit on arm's length for me because I don't really relate to them. Like, it's hard to relate to a Wes Anderson movie because they're not really
And
you know,
it's definitely like,
because nobody's actually in that situation. I mean,
it's-
not that David Lynch films you can really relate to the characters in that either, but for there, it's the artistic, you know.
I feel
but
a David Lynch film, you're not supposed to relate to it, versus like, I think it comes down to like, Wes Anderson is he's so artistic with his films. Like, he has reached, and this is something that's occurred over his films. Like, Wes Anderson now makes films for Wes Anderson.
It does feel that way.
If you happen to like it, great.
It feels that way, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it just means that I tend to be less emotionally attached to them.
Yeah. It's they are particular, and you have to like that kind of particular.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, definitely like we talked about like Grand Budapest Hotel. Like,
yeah,
it is.
I like it
just so
it a
enjoyable.
lot. Like there's almost enough that we probably could do.
A top
we could
five.
do like a Wes Anderson top 5 because I mean, like Royal Tenenbaums is really good.
Yeah.
There's like a number that I do really like, but
And he has big library.
and it would allow me also. It would give me a chance to maybe catch up on a few that I've missed too, because I
know I've got one or two
I've
that I
missed
need
some.
to.
So yeah,
Well, I like even like Fantastic Mr. Fox, which I didn't see till
that's a possibility.
just recently. Yeah.
That's a possibility.
I believe it actually might already be on the director on our.
I don't think
director's
so.
list. No,
That doesn't strike me as something I would have thought of.
I might have put it on there, but yeah.
maybe.
Anyways, all right. So that is our top 10 of 2000 to 2009.
Of the 2000s.
Final decade top 10.
Yeah.
I'm gonna miss doing the decade top 10.
No, you're not.
No,
I won't.
Yeah.
I mean, I will in a sense.
Looking back at a whole decade of films.
I'll miss it in the sense of like the ones we did that were really good, like the ones that I was really excited about, like the 70s and like maybe the 50s or some of those ones. But I mean, like overall, we did it. It's done.
I just more from a point of view of like I mean, it doesn't help that like every year, every decade, tons of amazing films come out. And being able to talk about a bunch of them all in one go is really nice. Versus like, well, we want to do a film from the 50s or something like that. It's just like
we also, I mean, it does open things up to now we can sort of go back to like every top 5 can be just kind of like a random kind of topical one, which I think is cool. That opens that up a bit again. I
Yeah, because actually when we started doing the decade ones, I immediately was like, oh man, so we're only every second one is going to get to be a topical one. I'm going to miss doing the topical one.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, we got on that pretty quick because that was, well, I guess not. That was episode
40.
Oh, because we did do top 5
40s is the first one I did, so episode 40.
Yeah.
So it's been, you know...
Yeah, because before
we've been doing decade-based ones for over a year.
Yeah, over a year now, yeah. Yeah, because I guess, dude... Yeah, top 5 of the 30s would have been tough for me. Not so much for
I would have
you.
loved to have done... I would have loved to have done it.
Secret top 5 of
But
the 30s.
I don't want to make it hard on you, because
I
it's supposed to be a give and take.
I would totally be down with just you bring a top 5 of the 30s and tell me about those movies.
Well, I can certainly recommend some 30s movies. I mean, there's some stuff that I think you'd know. I mean,
I'm sure I've seen a few, probably even not even realizing.
Like Wizard of Oz, you know,
yeah, I guess.
Great film. I mean, most people like Wizard of Oz, you know.
My number one, Wizard of Oz. Also, it's my 2 through 5.
But yeah, I mean, there's some good stuff. There's, I mean, obviously Kong is great. And then there's like Adventures of Robin Hood is good. There's.
Okay, I think we do this every time we talk about the 30s. You just bring up a bunch of films that reminds me. Oh yeah, I have seen a bunch of films
some
from
of
the 30s.
some of the Marx Brothers stuff. Maybe it's pretty good.
That's true too. Yeah.
There's stuff like that. But
we can always do it sometime in a later date if we're just as a
who knows.
Yeah. All right. So next week we will be back to doing
101.
For episode 101, we're gonna watch a movie and talk about it.
Yeah.
It feels like forever.
Yeah.
I have not watched a single film since we started.
That's a lie.
No, I'm totally lying.
Complete and utter lie.
Yeah. So So anything else?
Nothing that I think needs to be jumped upon at the moment. I think we'll save.
Yeah.
Some. I have other things that I want to mention, but I think they're best saved for an actual.
And we're already running
an actual episode.
Too,
so yep.
I'd like to thank everyone who's listened to us up until this point.
Yep.
If you're even brand new, or if you listen to all 100 episodes of us rambling, much appreciated. I'm still I am in awe of ourselves that we actually managed to do this. Not in a we are so great, but wow, we actually did it. Awesome, And we're gonna go into our second
100
episodes.
Who knows?
Yeah,
we'll see.
Probably just burn through those.
Haven't gotten bored of doing it yet. So
no.
I guess that's what it comes down to.
Well, I mean, here's the thing.
And we've managed to squeeze it in with all other life things and stuff.
Yeah.
There hasn't been any major life stuff that's prevented.
In between, I've been away or
moved.
I moved, or we lost an episode. Yeah, we still managed to make it work. So, all right. Well, thanks everyone for listening to 100 episodes, and we will see you next week for 101. My name's Chris.
Is that it?
Cheers.
Bye bye.